Welcome back to part 3 of Tomorrow's World Plus. Now, as Lindsay Fallow and David Wardell have been showing us, whilst Britain may be a nation of gardeners, it's what goes on in their garden sheds that's really interesting. David Wardell reports from a very special birthday party celebrating the inventors and the innovators from the bottom of the garden.
I'm here at the Science Museum in London, where this week's Inventions Plus takes a look at some of the great invention success stories of the 20th century. Sorry, Leonardo, nice idea, but wrong century. Tomorrow's world has featured many inventions, but it's those that come from lone inventors that are really quite special. The hovercraft, invented by Sir Christopher Cockerell. The Reverend Jonathan Copus with his biogun, now used widely by chiropodists. And not forgetting Trevor Bayliss with his clockwork radio. Another inspired invention which single-handedly changed the face of travel in the 20th century is this, the jet engine, designed and built by Sir Frank Whittle. Whittle patented his design in 1930, whilst in the RAF. Unfortunately, when his patent came up for renewal, he couldn't afford the £5 fee, and so the patent lapsed. This is the Gloucester. It was the first British aircraft to be powered by Whittle's jet engine. But sadly for Whittle, due to problems and delays, the Italians and the Germans both flew jet aircraft before him. So here's another successful innovation direct from the garden shed. It's the DIY dream, the Workmate, invented by Ron Hickman. Now Ron, everybody looks at the Workmate and says, why didn't I think of that? What gave you the edge? What gave you your inspiration?
Back in 1961 we just bought our first little bungalow. It had no fitted furniture and I wanted to make some and had nothing to work on. And so I grabbed the nearest thing, which was a dining room chair. Next thing I knew, sawing plywood on it, I'd cut into the chair. So of course I was a bit mad about that. Now I happened to be the chief designer of Lotus cars at the time. I had them weld up a frame and I added a very simple top comprising 2 lumps of wood, and I added a massive vise and a foot platform to hold the whole contraption down. And I thought this might have some commercial potential. And so I designed a further prototype, which was designed so it could knock flat and go through the post.
But what happened when you first took the idea to tool companies?
I hawked the idea around 8 British manufacturers, starting with my favourite, which is Black Decker. They couldn't take it on because they were just launching a little lawnmower. I took it to Stanley and in Sheffield, and they wrote me a famous letter which I can almost quote chapter and verse. Our investigations into Europe have produced the most lukewarm response. We believe that sales will be measured in dozens rather than hundreds.
So you got turned down. How did you proceed from there?
I took a little barn in Hoddesdon, and this is the first folding one with the folding frames. And of course the famous feature, which is the 2 vice screws independently operable, so one can make it go parallel or tapered. And we sold by mail order and at exhibitions the first 23,000 of those. We were doubling every year, and that started to bring manufacturers back to me.
What advice would you give to aspiring inventors?
Well, I suppose 3 things. First is develop the thing until you really know it works. The second thing is tremendous persistence. You'll really need that. And the third thing is, if you finally are batting your head against a total brick wall, and the reasons for it being a brick wall are sound, drop it and get on with something else.
So who will be the success stories of the 21st century? I'm off to the 80th birthday celebrations of the Institute of Patentees and Inventors, one of the organisations I actually work with. They have a pretty all-star alumni, and many of the inventors featured today are or were members, including Ron Hickman and the Workmate. Hopefully we'll see the household names of the future.
These are boots for dogs, and they get reinforced soles underneath so that the glass will not penetrate the dog's paws. That's basically what they're there for, paw protection.
This is the talking potty, the potty that praises the botty. It's to help potty train young children.
Good girl, Phoebe, clever girl. You did a lovely wee-wee.
This is the Oyster Converter. It does away with the problem of putting a smaller radiator in a bigger position and simply pulling it out. It also allows you in a new build to swing a radiator open like a gate. This means you can clean behind it, it means you can decorate behind it, and you can get twice as much heat.
Well, that's it for this week. Next time on Inventions Plus, we go north of the border as we drop in on the John Logie Baird Awards for Innovation up in Glasgow.
Well, only time will tell if some of those inventions will become part of everyday life.